The first question ghostwriters have is how much should I charge? But the number one question ghostwriters have, we all have, is how do we find good clients? Clients who are willing and able to pay a professional rate for a professional ghostwriter. And if you go look at a lot of small business, especially professional service provider advice, you talk to other ghostwriters, you read other books, you're going to find an overwhelming amount of information. And it's hard to sift and sort through all these different ideas to figure out what should you be doing to find good clients that can actually afford to pay you a professional rate. Some people are going to tell you that you need to go to events, maybe go to writers' conferences or publishing conferences, or maybe go speak maybe at some kind of business conference. Some people are going to tell you that you need to engage in social media. You need to be on Facebook. You need to be on Twitter. Some people are going to tell you that you need to advertise online, do LinkedIn ads or Facebook ads or Google AdWords. Some people are going to tell you that you need to go network in the small writing circles in your business, in your city, or business networking events. Let's go to the agencies and let them come up with the leads and then pass them off to you for a commission. What about authoring magazine articles or authoring newspaper articles, or somehow getting your byline out there as a writer and then having people read that and then come to you because they want a book? What about going on podcasts, starting a podcast, being a guest on podcasts? What about search engine optimization and creating a blog and doing all the things that it takes to make your website climb up the ranks on Google? What about the job boards? There are hundreds, thousands of people on there that are looking for ghostwriters and dozens, certainly, if not hundreds of people looking for book ghostwriters for full-length manuscripts. And you go through all of that, and what is the answer? Some people have had, a little bit of success here or there. But if you're like me, my ghostwriting practice provides my income, which is, provides for my family. I need a system that is not a wing and a prayer. I can't operate my business hoping that somebody is going to find me. I need something where I can put in a minimum of resources, whether that be time or money, and get a maximum of return. And I have tried all kinds of different things. I've tried just about everybody's advice that I know of. And I'm going to share with you the only process that I've found that actually does a good job, and a far better job than any of these on their own, of delivering quality prospects who can actually work with me, so that I gross 6 figures a year. I call it my breadcrumb trail. So all of the things that we've just put out there, events and Facebook and magazine articles, all of these you can consider breadcrumbs. So think back to Hansel and Gretel. Whenever they were lost in the forest, the way that they would try to find their way back home is they would scatter a trail of breadcrumbs as they went along. So breadcrumbs can be whatever it for you is cheap, is easy, is something that you like to do, things that you can scatter to the wind, if you will, that lead people back to your home base. That is your website. So you put all these breadcrumbs out, and don't try to do everything. Pick 2 or 3 that are easy for you. So for instance, I hate blogging. I hate blogging. Blogging is not a breadcrumb for me because that requires so much energy, so much effort from me. No, it doesn't work for me. So that's not a breadcrumb for me. But I like to be interviewed. I like to go on podcast. That's something easy for me to do. I apparently interview well. People always seem to enjoy having me on their show, or at least that's what they tell me. So that's a breadcrumb for me. That's something that I can throw out there, and whenever people listen to it, they eventually come back to my homepage. So breadcrumbs, again, can be any of these things. An event, it could be anything on social media, it could be podcasts, could be being in the news. You throw all of these little things out, they're eventually going to lead to. Now, I put search engine optimization and website together because they're so intertwined. But search engine optimization is a kind of breadcrumb. So if you go to a networking event and you give someone your business card, they might Google your name, or they just might go straight to your website. So let's not get bogged down in the weeds, but just know that search engine optimization is actually a pretty important part of what it takes to reliably find these leads. And so then once somebody gets to your website, you want to have a conversation with them, either a call or a meeting. So again, let's recap. Find a couple of ways that you can put out a high quantity of breadcrumbs. And a breadcrumb, again, is something that is cheap and easy for you to throw out, because you want to throw out a lot of them. The purpose of those breadcrumbs is to get somebody to your website. Once they get to your website, the purpose of the website is to get them to set up a call or a meeting with you. You want to have a conversation. Now, yes, there are other ways that ghostwriters have gotten clients, but this is the only system that I know of that actually does a decent job. Now let's talk about why. So if the purpose is to get people to your website, let's talk about website traffic. So what I'm going to share with you is the web traffic from my site, DerekLewis.com, specifically June of 2017. Now, I'm not going to give you the numbers. I'm going to give you the percentage, because that's what really tells the tale. So there are 4 primary ways that people come to DerekLewis.com. So one, there's paid search. For me, that's Google AdWords. I've tried LinkedIn. I've tried a couple of other places. I like Google AdWords. Over the past 4 years, I have spent 5 figures advertising with Google. For my social media, I have a Facebook page, a LinkedIn profile, and Twitter. I've also got Pinterest, but that's really just for fun more than anything. I have a dedicated social media admin, a digital admin, who works for me 40 hours a week, and her primary responsibility is making sure that we stay as a team, we stay on top of my social media, again, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Third are the direct. So these are people who just typed in DerekLewis.com and they came to DerekLewis.com. That could be current clients, could be past clients, could be potential clients who had found me somewhere else and were coming back to my website. Could be people I've handed out my business card to. However they found me. They type it in and then they show up. And then last is organic search. And this is really where search engine optimization comes in. So these are people who typed in, either looked for Derek Lewis, the writer, or more likely, business book ghostwriter, or how do I write a business book, or how do I find a writer to help me write my business book. These are people that have just typed in these random search strings on Google and come to and found themselves on DerekLewis.com. Okay, so let's look at the breakdown. So let's start with paid search. I want you to look at that number for a second. So again, over the past 4 years, I've spent 5 figures advertising with Google. And yet, only 8% of my web traffic came from paying people to come to paying Google to get people to come to my website. 8%. Despite the fact that I have a full-time social media admin trying to stay on top of Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and what are the best times of day to post and all the things that come with trying to be engaged in social media. Only 12% of my ad traffic came from social media. And I think it's telling that I got 50% more traffic coming from social media than I even did from paying. Right? So social media is 50% more volume than paid search. And to my knowledge, I take that back. I have had one client that came from social media. And I don't like to talk about my clients, but I will say that out of the range of clients that I've had, they were the least enjoyable to work with. Take that for what it's worth. So for direct traffic, again, this could be people just typing in DerekLewis.com. These could be current clients. These could be maybe some of the course participants from the ghostwriting classes I've taught, is typing in DerekLewis.com into the address box. About a quarter of all my web traffic comes from people who already know that DerekLewis.com is where they want to go. So it's the lion's share of my web traffic comes from organic search. People going to Google and typing how do I work with a ghostwriter, or a business ghostwriter, business book ghostwriter, whatever all search terms that I've put in, or that find me. So here's what I want you to take away from this graphic. Despite the fact that I put so much time and energy into these other ways of getting people to come to my website, all these online methods, still the vast majority of people find me just because of search engine optimization. That is why SEO is so incredibly important in your marketing process. So I want you to put out the breadcrumbs that work for you to help people come to your website. But you also have to make sure that your website speaks to them, that you've got good copy on there, that people are able to find you. And then once they're there, then it's the job of your website to actually get people to reach out to you, to send an email, to set up a phone call or a face-to-face meeting. I hope this helps.